Hey everyone, before I go off to the gym, I wanted to continue the video and basically talk about uh, the first one was basically drugs, which is basically just chemicals that are concentrated. I mean, when you concentrate anything, it can have negative effects. Just like the example I gave in a couple episodes ago about oxygen. With a lot of oxygen, you're going to get loopy and then you're going to die. So basically, when you're concentrating all of these drugs, like sugar, for example, you're taking the sugar cane and you're extracting all the sugar and concentrating it. That's not going to be good for you. You've seen the effects. Concentrated nicotine. I don't know if there's very many studies about nicotine, but the way it's consumed is just inherently bad. You're either taking the tobacco and putting it in your mouth with fiberglass to rip up the membrane in your in the inside of your mouth so that the nicotine can travel directly into your bloodstream that way, and then when you're smoking, you're inhaling all these chemicals. Obviously, what they put in cigarettes, I don't know why they put all of this junk in cigarettes, but there's long lists and there's plans to try to make people smoke less or quit smoking, all these types of campaigns and whatnot. I don't know why they need to put in all that stuff. But when you do that, you're exposing your lungs to the dangers of lung cancer, and they just get black, and they don't work properly because our lungs aren't meant to have this hot, dirty smoke in them all the time. I mean, sure, you can like survive if you have a little bit of smoke in your lungs. Say you're running out of a burning building, you can still have damage from smoke inhalation. You're not supposed to have smoke in your lungs. I mean, it's clear. Now, for the other over-the-counter drugs and more unnatural things, I'm not 100% certain how acetaminophen is made, but we don't fully understand how it relieves pain and how it works and what its full effects on the body are. Obviously, your liver processes all of the drugs that I'm talking about, and when you work it too hard, there's going to be problems. That's why you can't pop like 20 acetaminophen pills in one day. You can't take 30 Prozacs for your depression because it's just going to destroy you. We're not made to have high concentrations, and even low concentrations can have negative effects, which is why we should lessen the concentrations of these drugs and other concentrated chemicals that we're having. That's basically it. I could have added on to the other video, but I just wanted to make this one as a secondary one. It's a little bit shorter, and it'll be easier for me to upload. I guess I could talk about one more thing, which isn't exactly a drug, but let's take the example of gluten. Gluten is a sticky protein that's found in wheat, barley, and rye, and there's been a lot of hype around it lately because just the gluten-free movement, you could call it, is really starting to pick up. And it's basically a fad because you can eat gluten, but just don't eat it in such high concentrations. If you went out in a field and you picked all the wheat that you would need to make that six-pack of cupcakes that you're just going to eat right now, it would take you forever. And it's supposed to take you forever because you're not supposed to have that high concentration. The way that we can basically extract the grains that we need to make what we eat so easily it has damaging effects. Sure, it's not the same with everything. Like, I mean, it would take you forever to crack open a bunch of peanuts after gathering them and then frying them and then mixing them up to make peanut butter. But you could eat a jar of peanut butter and probably be okay if the fat doesn't clog your arteries first. The key is the moderation and keeping things natural. If you can't find it easily in nature, then you shouldn't be eating too much of it. The reason why this gluten-free fad is getting so popular is because it might lead people to lose weight a little bit more, because people aren't trying to make gluten-free things that are super unhealthy. So if you're practicing gluten-free, what has wheat in it? Bread. It's a very starchy substance with a lot of energy packed in, and if you don't use all that energy, it's going to turn to fat. So it's getting more popular because these people are seeing that using this tactic to avoid gluten is going to create a situation for them that they're exposed to less opportunities to consume higher concentrations of sugar, which is the main problem. Gluten is not really a problem unless you have celiac disease. Celiac disease is basically where the protein gluten messes with your small intestine and damages it in such a way that you can't properly absorb other nutrients, which leads to tons of problems like, if I remember, diarrhea, rashes, several other things. But only, I believe 10% of the population take that with a grain of salt, has even a gluten allergy at all. Most people can eat gluten and be fine. It's just don't eat so much of it. When people cut out complex carbs like bread, and cake and everything with wheat, if they cut that out, then they're going to lose weight, because it's so easy to eat a handful of bread with so much energy that can be broken down so amazingly by your body to produce a bunch of sugars that it can use. If it doesn't use all of it, it's obviously going to go into fat. But you can also eat the same amount of raspberries, for example, which are pretty easy to pick if they're in season. But it's not nearly as much energy. So, I mean, clearly there's differences in calorie concentrations. People think fat is an enemy, which they're sadly mistaken. That was just something that is basically invented a long time ago, and it's a common misconception. And now everything is lowered fat, fat-free. You don't want that processed garbage. If you're going to drink milk or something, for example, or cheese, go for the full fat. It's less processed. They're not taking away all the fats that are healthy for you. Fat is good for you. It's an essential nutrient that we all need. A low-carb diet would be much better, in my opinion. Not the best option, though, because you do need carbohydrates. And if you have no carbs, you're going to have the same problems that you're going to have if you have no fat. You need these nutrients. They're called macronutrients: protein, fat, and carbohydrates. You need all of them. Your body uses them, and your body can't produce them on its own out of nothing, like we can vitamin D by absorbing sunlight and taking our LDL cholesterol and converting it to vitamin D for our bodies to use to strengthen our bones and whatnot. We can't do that with these macronutrients. We need to eat. That's part of being an animal, especially a human, because being at the top of the food chain, except if you get attacked by a bear or a shark or something, being at the top of the food chain, we have so many options. We can eat all kinds of things, and we need to eat to survive. Well, I guess that's it, basically. Just avoid concentrated chemicals. Bread is concentrated. It's concentrated wheat. You wouldn't normally be able to get that much wheat to make that bread that you're eating. And when I say bread, I mean anything that's made out of flour, like donuts, cake, anything. And also, if you're going gluten-free, I guess I'm going off on a tangent here. I'll talk a little bit more about gluten-free. You can still end up with the same amount of calories if you're using rice flour, for example. It's also going to be a highly concentrated substance. Because, I mean, try going to a river and picking a bunch of rice to make whatever you're going to make. It would take forever. So rice is something that you can't really get concentrated in nature, like naturally. You'd need to go someplace or find someone that's harvested it and put it in a high concentration. These carbs that are white, I mean like potatoes, rice, bread, they've got a lot of energy, and that's the thing that people don't understand about that. When you have all this energy and you don't use it all, you're going to turn the rest into fat so that your body can do other stuff with it later. So what I'm saying is, just avoid high concentrations of stuff that you wouldn't normally find in nature, because it can be harmful to your body, because frankly we're not used to it. It takes thousands and thousands of years to change and evolve. The changes are happening constantly, but now that we've gotten rid of survival of the fittest, humanity's not going to feel the changes as rapidly and as a whole. So it's important for us to try to keel it back with these advancements in artificial ingredients and high concentrations of garbage, really, that's being put into our food. If you just avoid that, then you're going to have a better time. All right, tomorrow I'm probably going to talk about the fourth rule, which is food and eating food, not chemicals and garbage and additives. But I'll get into that tomorrow. So I'll talk to you guys then.